Right is the measure of the swing. To the left, rhythm compensates. And I feel like that just speaks of the balance and how suddenly things can shift. But as long as we follow our heart and we follow the universe, there's a biblical message that just stood out to me. It says, the biblical parable, Jesus is, I feel like I should tell you that Jesus was 33 when he was crucified. So 33 may be significant. I only say that because I'm 33. The same age as Jesus was when he was crucified. Not saying that I have that. Okay, I'm sorry I had to put the video on pause again because I feel like I should mention this because I'm noticing a balance with a lot of this, and it kind of occurred to me as I was reading a part. What made it come to mind was one of our dogs that we own. He's one of our dogs that we got from Texas. He has severe PTSD, like severe PTSD. He lived in a kennel near a military base and in Texas. And I suffered, but I give myself a new definition to my suffering. But we all have labels, and I've been labeled with PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, and the dog, again, labeled with post-traumatic stress disorder, which if any of you who are listening to this and are not familiar with it, if you've been through a trauma or a traumatic situation and it's like you obtain a mental blockage of some sort or a spiritual blockage, so most of the time it's both, and it creates an unbalance, and sometimes mentally we pick up on things that are toxic because of these traumas in the past. We attach ourselves to, okay, well, this happened, so if I do this, then this is going to happen again. That's not the case. You can't live in that fear that these things are going to continue to cycle and start and happen again. You can't let yourself be held back because you're afraid that things are going to happen the same way. And that, I feel like that's another message for someone, is to not be afraid of past, because you've had past pains or you're going through something painful right now, and suddenly you're going to have a shift. You're going to realize that, like in the description that made me think on this, there's this paragraph, this perspective of the metaphor seems to have its heart in the idea that you may pass through into heaven with what you are, what you've done, and how you've lived, not with what you have acquired, collected, and attached yourself to materially. Some claim that the accurate translation relates to a particular gate in Jerusalem known as the Eye of a Needle, and only the camel free from baggage or attachment is able to pass through the space because the opening is so small. And I read the paragraphs in reverse. The perspective paragraph, it's a short paragraph, was actually the second, and then the some claim was the first. And it says liberation may be found in loving all without attachment, giving because it feels good to give, and allowing your presence to be a gift given without expectation of anything in return.